When Dante and Virgil reach the ninth circle of hell, the very bottom, they don't find a fiery inferno. The worst of humanity is subject to a different punishment. They're trapped in a frozen lake, completely immobile. Their existence is so cold that even their tears freeze in place. This realm is for the treacherous, and at its center is the first traitor, Lucifer. With his 3 heads, the devil forever chews on 3 human traitors from antiquity: Brutus and Cassius, the assassins of Caesar, and of course, Judas Iscariot. Betrayal is a uniquely wicked act that has been cursed since the earliest days of written history. After being betrayed by one of his counselors, King David writes in the book of Psalms, "For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man my equal, my guide and my acquaintance." Being such an emotionally powerful offense, it's of little surprise that some of the most memorable moments in film history have been acts of betrayal.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
But despite our instinctual disdain for traitors, they can be some of the most complex and compelling characters in a story. In this video, I'm going to focus on just 2 examples that, for me, stole their respective movies and elevated the arcs of the characters around them. They have many similarities and some differences, but both characters are integral to presenting the key themes of the stories they're in. And coincidentally, the first character we'll look at is also stuck on an icy hellscape when he's woken up by the crew of the Endurance. When I first saw Interstellar in 2014, I was not much of a movie guy. I could probably name you 10 actors. But because of the Bourne franchise, one of them was Matt Damon. So when I saw him emerge from the hypersleep pod, I was shocked. Matt Damon isn't just supposed to appear in movies. He is movies. But there he was, playing the universally admired Dr. Hugh-Mann, leader of the Lazarus Project. Now his name could be a bit more subtle once we realize his role in the story, but I'm willing to give the Nolans a pass. When Cooper and his team find Dr. Mann, he's not the fearless leader he once was. He's an emotional wreck, understandably. Between researching his empty, lifeless planet and a few hypersleeps, he hasn't seen another human face in 35 years. So from the very beginning, we sympathize with this man and what he suffered. And then it's Dr. Mann who reveals the truth of Plan A to Cooper and Amelia.
Evolution has yet to transcend that simple barrier. We can care deeply, selflessly, about those we know, but that empathy rarely extends beyond our line of sight.
I like this scene a lot because it is refreshing to hear somebody tell the truth, even a hard truth, in a clear and matter-of-fact way. Mann even sort of convinces us that, yeah, maybe the lie was necessary given the dire circumstances. But as is normally the case with humans, Dr. Hugh-Mann cannot take his own advice. He's very quick to point out the selfish nature of humanity while refusing to acknowledge his own, as we will see. Dr. Mann leads Project Lazarus to be a warrior for mankind. Cypher takes Morpheus' red pill for a similar reason. He wants to be a freedom fighter. He wants to help defeat those that trapped him in a lie. Unfortunately, the new world he chooses turns out to be almost as desolate as Mann's icy planet. There is nothing overly suspicious about Cypher when we first meet him, apart from the goatee. He isn't hostile to Neo despite his quick connection with the woman he loves. He doesn't mock his failed jump.
Everybody falls the first time.
He even admits to Trinity that there is something about him. Cypher has been in reality for 9 years, and during this time he's seen Chosen One after Chosen One fail to live up to the messianic expectations of his leader. And because of this, he appears to have a degree of sympathy for Neo. The same sympathy you might have for a lobster waiting around in a tank to be cooked. And for Neo, it's clear that he appreciates Cypher's admission about missing the Matrix. It makes him more relatable than the other crew members. These characters accumulate a lot of trust from their companions over the years. Mann was courageous enough to lead Lazarus, Cypher was courageous enough to choose the red pill. So it's not surprising that the people around them would fail to be suspicious given their prior actions. So why do they turn? Their stated reasons are somewhat different. Dr. Mann fools himself into thinking he's making the same sacrifice as his former mentor, Professor Brand. He's destroying his humanity to save all of humanity. He's the Dark Knight, bearing the weight of judgment for everyone. But even with this utilitarian reasoning, Dr. Mann raises even more excuses as he attempts to murder Cooper. And to be fair, this is an epic line.
Don't judge me, Cooper. You were never tested like I was. Human habit.
So in short, he's saying, this hurts me more than it hurts you, but I have to do it for everyone, including your children. And also, I've already paid for the sins I'm about to commit, so you can't judge me. Cypher takes a different angle. He can't pretend he's killing his crewmates for humanity, but rather, humanity is already screwed. So what difference does it make if these people die for me to live a more comfortable existence? He's also extremely resentful towards Morpheus for running their ship, in his view, like a theocratic dictator who's chasing a prophecy that's already proved to be hollow. Trinity's rejection is the cherry on top. And Cypher explains his decision to Trinity in one of my top 5 movie quotes ever.
All I do is what he tells me to do. If I gotta choose between that and the Matrix, I choose the Matrix.
The Matrix and Interstellar are stories about sacrifice and the difficulty of choosing between what we desire and what's right. Interstellar makes Cooper's quandary even more difficult because you could argue that what he desires, to be with his kids, is what's right. His children often make that case. Neo must choose to either run from the agents, as Cypher recommends, or take them on to save Morpheus. He chooses the latter and, of course, becomes the one. Dr. Mann and Cypher play a unique role in the arcs of Cooper and Neo. They are barriers that must be overcome, much like Agent Smith in The Matrix and the unforgiving forces of nature in Interstellar. But more importantly, they show us what could happen to our heroes if they take the road of self-preservation rather than sacrifice. Imagine if Neo allows Tank to pull the plug on Morpheus. He would continue on in a bleak, dark world, knowing that he failed to even try to be the hero Morpheus envisioned. And after years of bearing that guilt and eating this stuff, he could recycle Cypher's lines. He tricked me, this isn't freedom, I want out, I choose the Matrix. And after being told the truth of his mission and the hopeless state of humans on Earth, Cooper could decide that there's nothing left for him to preserve but his own life. And once that becomes his priority, any number of reasons could be used to justify immoral actions, as we see with Dr. Mann. Now in life, sometimes outside forces are responsible for our failure to live the life we want. There are malevolent people, natural disasters, disease, many things. But more often than not, we are the architects of our own failures. That can be true even when the bad choices are understandable in retrospect. Cypher and Dr. Mann are great characters because we know why they do what they do. They can improve their situations by harming others, and nobody will know about it. As Dr. Mann tells Cooper plainly, it was just too easy to resist. But heroes are heroes because they resist. Before they can even raise a sword and defeat outside forces that want to destroy them, they must defeat the inner impulses and desires that most other people can't. Even if Neo is not revived at the end of The Matrix, he's a hero. Even if Cooper can only save Brand in Plan B, he's a hero. Because they reject the examples set by Cypher and Dr. Mann and choose the sacrificial path. So Cypher and Dr. Mann may be stuck in the ninth circle for eternity, but the betrayals serve a purpose. They show the ease of evil and the difficulty of good, and that's a daily problem we all face. And when I think about The Matrix and Interstellar, I often come back to the betrayers, because percentage-wise, I'm probably more like them than the heroes they turn on. But that doesn't have to stay true forever. Alright guys, everyone has seen these two movies, so leave your thoughts on these characters in the comments if you'd like. And if you want to see more videos like this going forward, make sure to like and subscribe on your way out. I wish you safe travels and good steak. I will talk to you soon.